girls don't get used, don't get finessed. So
Yes. Yeah.
are you telling them the truth?
He wanted to take the girl out, and I mean, he planned. It was the cutest thing. He was so stressed about planning this, and he wanted to go here and wanted to go there. I could okay, we do all of the things. I took him to get a fresh haircut. I said, because girls like a fresh haircut. Got him a fresh haircut. He had on a nice little whatever outfit, and I think they went to like Dave and Buster's at the mall, and he got her something to eat from the food because he was like, "Oh, we can do it." I said, "Whoa, how you start is how you got to finish. You can't start up here and then just start going. Hey." So the mall was cute. It was fine. It was what it was. But I think with him, like I said, his expenses for me, this is what I feel. I feel like his job money is his money. Like you spend it however you want to.
Oh, he
It's
works.
not a requirement for you to work. You're not an adult. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not mandatory. I don't expect for you to start paying an electric bill. You're a
No,
child.
no.
You know. I don't think that
But
that's
you got mothers out here doing that though. They're putting
well,
their
yeah.
sons to work
I
and
just
then contribute to the household. That ain't yo. I'm a big. That's why I got into it with my daughter. I said, Victory ain't got no household bill. Whatever your bill is in that household, that's your bill. I
yeah.
don't
I
believe
mean,
kids to be paying to be. No, I don't believe that at all.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, he definitely contributes to this water bill. Like contributes meaning like running up my electric bill and stuff. But I mean, it's part of the course. Is the cost of doing business, so to speak, right?
Hmm.
So no, like for me, like working is optional. You don't have to work. You're not an adult. Like what we rushing to do. So as far as that's concerned, I will not pay for your date stuff. That is what I will not be doing. I'm not gonna be keeping up your relationship. I'm
Pay
not
for pay for
doing
his
that.
date.
I will not do that. No, I will not. If you want a girlfriend, you better get a job. That's y'all's little relationship. That ain't my relationship. I'm not paying for that. But in terms of like, he wants clothes, shoes, $200.
Are you
Clothes, like, hmm,
are you teaching him to go 50-50 with the girl?
no.
Why?
Why?
Y'all want partnership.
Anyway, like I said, no. So they went.
We're not gonna skip over that,
We
Joy.
got two.
Y'all,
We got two. I don't say rules, but we got um, two things that he know about me that just have been consistent. One, you go to church. We go to church. That's important. That's a thing. You need to get.
gotta
I don't care how late you out on Saturday. You better get up and you go to church on Sunday. And the other thing is, you gotta make a lot of money. A lot of it. That's it. Like when you get out
you
here to work, you need to make a lot of money.
these ladies want
Because life
partnership. So why can't he go 50-50 with a partner?
he can do whatever he wants to, but I'm telling him, you need to be prepared. You need to pay for everything.
Pay
Yes.
for everything for what?
If you taking a girl out, you need to pay.
Why?
Why
You want
not?
a y'all want a partner. Partners don't pay.
If she chooses to volunteer, so be it. But no.
No. We can't be teaching him that.
Well, that's what we're teaching. That's what we're doing. Okay.
Drizzle.
But you also got to know when you're getting finessed.
How can you know that when you always paying for everything?
Yeah, well, when
What is she?
the
Can I
girl
ask you a
becomes
man?
too comfortable asking for stuff is a problem. Like, well,
I'm gonna ask you a mandatory question. What does she bring to the table? Just her? Just
I
a
don't know.
cute
She's
smile?
15. I have no idea what these children are doing, but I know what we won't be doing.
Her,
We won't be
her
paying for
mama,
no wigs.
her
We
mama
won't
need
be
to be
paying for no bundles.
her mama need to be contributed 50-50 to them mall and Dave and Buster stuff. That boy don't even paying all that at this point. We do no. We set him up to get finessed.
No, we set him up to be a gentleman. Take the
Gentlemen,
lady out. Yes,
now
take
you
the
know
lady
doggone
out.
well, Joy.
Have a
These
good
women ain't.
time.
You know doggone well these women ain't no ain't. You know doggone well they stomp all over a gentleman. You know they walk right all
But
over him.
Daniel, you can teach your children the way that you want to teach your children. This is a subjective subject matter, and to tell me that I am wrong,
I didn't say you were wrong.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Daniel Cunningham.
Oh, okay. Is in the
So,
chat. What did he say?
yeah. So, Daniel, you are welcome to teach your children anything that you want to teach your children. That's completely fine. There's no such thing as wrong. It's subjective. That's all.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
you're
a right
teaching
or a wrong. It's just
you
it's
te-
different.
you're teaching a
Mhm.
fella. Yeah, you got to teach a fella how to spot not getting finessed. Absolutely.
Yeah, because these
Yeah.
hoes don't want nothing but money.
There you go. We on the same page.
Oh, that part we on the same page. I mean, what?
we on the yeah, we on the same page with that one, Joy.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back. So, um, can you explain again why you decided to leave teaching? And
I
did you
was
have a
broke.
plan? You were
I was
broke.
broke. I was broke.
So what was the plan? When you decided to leave teaching, what was the plan?
I went on LinkedIn and I started scrolling on LinkedIn and I was like, who look like they make a lot of money? And I was like, and I had a manager. I found a former manager of mine that was doing loans. But I also wanted to be very intentional because at this point I was 31 years old, and I'm like, okay, I got to get it right this time. I done
Oh,
tried stuff.
you were 31?
Uh huh.
There's something magical about that damn number when you growing up. Because
Yeah, I
that's when
was
I
like, I got to get it right this time. I assessed my skills. What had I had experience in?
yeah,
The end game was to make money.
yes.
All it is, so that kind of going back to like this nonsense about doing something that you love and your passion and that makes you happy, baby, you could be happy, you're gonna be broke. Okay.
Gonna be
You
broke, gonna be
you
broke.
gonna hate your life. You're gonna hate yourself. And that does not
Yep.
make you happy. Okay. When people they don't make a lot of money and they like, oh, I'm not changing my job because I can do whatever I want to at my job. Yeah, but can you do what you want to at your house? You can't because you're broke. You have no money, right?
You're no,
So that my whole thing was, that's just what I knew that I wanted to. Did I know I wanted to buy a home at that time? No, I didn't know at that time. I don't. Did I know in 2014? I think I did want to buy a house. Maybe I think. But I just knew that that wasn't gonna work. That teaching thing, it wasn't gonna.
it's something to be said for that 31, 32-year-old number, because that was right around the time I was working in social services, and I
Yeah,
said, I can't do this.
this ain't it.
I, I can't do this. I was good at it. I was very good at it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But the money,
didn't
and
match.
even with, and let me tell you something, during that time, I was like the director of a workforce development center at the community college, and I was the director, like top dog, bragging rights for title and all that good crap, and I was making 60 grand. But
Yeah,
see, that was a lot of money but everybody
and
beneath me was like 36, 37. So,
yeah,
I thought I was doing something, but but it wasn't. And then I was thinking, like, even the next level up was like only $80,000. And I'm thinking, and those people weren't going nowhere no time soon. And it was very political, very political. And a
yeah.
lot of the people were placed in those positions. They were placed in being appointed by by the entity that was funding us, because a lot of
Mhm,
our money was taxpayer grants and donations.
mhm.
So, a lot of times those slightly higher paying positions, they were spoken for by the old guard, and they were dying in those positions. And I couldn't wait another 20 years for one of them jokers to die. I might get one depending on the
Yeah,
political atmosphere at the time. And that's when I started looking too. There's something to be said about that 31, 32-year-old age range where something kind of clicks, like, nah, this ain't it.
mhm.
This ain't it. So you decide, so how did you So you started looking on Indeed, and you was trying to look at what paid.
I was trying to figure out. So I had an interest in real estate because I'd gotten a real estate license right before the crash. I had already had a sales background because I sold radio advertising, and I knew sales, anything in sales has the potential to pay well. And so I'm like, okay, what can I do? I got a master's degree in teaching. Like, how does this work? And so at that time, Montressa Barbie had been my manager when I worked at Power 98. And this was in like, when I first met her, it was like 2005, 2006. She lived in a very high end neighborhood, Valentine, here in Charlotte. She had bought a home by herself. She was a single woman. She had a daughter. She had purchased her home. And at the time, I think she had an E Class Mercedes. I said, that bitch ain't broke. I'm going to do that. I knew. I knew she like, you know what I mean? So she had transitioned out of radio sales and gotten into being a loan officer. So I was like, it must be something here because I know she ain't broke. And so I was like, let me look at it, let me research it, let me see what is it. And I said, okay, I think this is gonna work. Now this is before Instagram. There was no like it really wasn't a whole lot about it on YouTube. I found a couple of videos, but it was more like the company talking about getting a loan with them. It wasn't this like day in the life. All of those things didn't exist yet. And
Mm-hmm.
so I took a chance. I ended up the very first company I got with. The one thing that I always tell people is that salespeople are liars. We be lying, like we full of shit. And so I didn't realize that they was gonna lie to me in the interview. And so that very first company, a lot of people kind of cut their teeth there, like I've later learned. And they all kind of laugh at that line item on the resume, like, yeah, they got me too, that sort of thing. And so when I got there, now remember, this is in 2000, this is in 2014. So when I got there, they were like, remember, in 2014, I was teaching. I stopped teaching in June. I got my last check, I think the end of June. So it's August, I'm broke. So they're like, yeah, I think they gave me like $2,000 a month. But see, here's the thing that I think, and I think this is a good
A
lesson.
$2,000 a month salary.
Yeah, it was like a base. It was. That's what I'm saying. This. I was thinking how they make that for destiny. So so the thing is, I didn't care because the one thing that I think that is really hurting Black people when it comes to making money is fear. They're scared to make a leap that makes them uncomfortable for a little while. I
Mm-hmm.
did not care because all I needed was an opportunity and a line item, and the rest would be left up to me. Just taking that first whatever, So I wasn't. It was okay. So 2000. So I was a teacher at the time. I think like I said, that year I made like I don't know. I think maybe like $40,000. I can't remember something like that. $42,000 or something like that. But it was over 10 months, so I was making $4,000 a month. For 10 months. Okay, so that's 40. 10 times 4 is 40. You get it? But
Mm-hmm.
not through for the whole year. You get what I'm saying? So anyway,
Yeah.
so I so it was like literally half. So $2,000. I'm like, okay. They told me that, oh yeah, all you gotta do, you sell this, you'll make like $6,000 a month. $6,000 a month. This is gonna be great. That's what I thought. It never happened. Um,
You
my car
said it.
got repossessed. My car got repossessed.
Your car got repossessed. What kind
Yeah,
of car was
it was like a Sentra. It was a Nissan Sentra. My
it?
car got repossessed
How
with
you
them.
get a
In
Nissan?
love.
You got a Nissan Sentra
I
repossessed.
told you I was making 2,000. I was broke. I was poor and broke. But And my
Can you
friends was like,
was you
just go
did
back
you
and
at
get
least try
it.
to hide the car? You know, a lot of us are trying to hide the car. Did you try to hide it? Like park
Man,
around the
you
corner,
know what? I don't even remember having a fear
change
that
your
somebody was
plates?
gonna. I don't even remember being scared that somebody was gonna come get the car. I just walked out to go to work one day and the car wasn't there. I was like, huh. I felt relieved, if I'm be totally honest with you. I was like, whatever.
You were
Somebody
like,
will take me to
whatever.
work. Yeah, because I mean, it was
You
what
didn't you,
I mean,
you
whatever.
didn't think
I
somebody
thought,
stole you didn't think somebody
mm,
stole it?
no.
Oh, you knew. When it was gone, you knew.
Yeah, but I don't remember feeling like I don't know what I thought. I don't know. This is 2014, but yeah, I had already had a foreclosure, so it wasn't no big deal. I mean, whatever. Like when you don't live, like when you have bad credit, like I ain't scared to be broke. I'm not scared to be broke. It's not fun, but I ain't scared to be broke. Like okay,
I
so
think
I just
you
knew
I think
somebody
you
was, huh?
I think you hit on something real tough, and it just really sunk in about the fact that we have a fear to do any the fear a fear of losing,
Yeah.
a fear of making those leaps. I actually agree because we are all conditioned to be tied to somebody's job. You know, we're conditioned to tie on it. I could have been making more money in respiratory 2 years ago, but I was afraid to I was afraid to leave. I
Mhm.
was afraid to leave a salary like it being an employee, and then I finally got the courage to go out on my own, and I'm an independent contractor now. So it's like best thing I ever did.
Yeah. I mean,
Best thing I
sometimes
ever
things
did.
work and sometimes they don't. And it's okay. Like I'm very frustrated with this generation's idea that simple life experiences are perceived as failures. Like they're not. Like basic human experiences are not they shouldn't be considered failures, and people are afraid to say, like there's people they would never tell somebody, oh, you do loans. I wouldn't tell nobody I had a foreclosure. Why? What's the problem? Like you're the problem if you think that's a problem. Like during 2008, 9, 10, 11, everybody was broke. Everybody broke now. Why do I know that? Because I look at people credit reports every day. I think that we have a problem in society with just being truthful. And if you can just be honest and tell what's going on with you, you have no idea what type of burden that relieves from that next person. People are out here, they think they living in a bubble and all of these bad things are only happening to them. They don't realize it's like, no, child, it's everybody, it's normal, relax, be cool,
I
it's
know people are broke. Well, I know people. Well, usually when people are broke on the job, when you see it on the job, they increase their entertainment, their fun.
Mhm.
There's
You damn
whole
right. Mhm.
there's a whole group of people. There are on a given night. There's probably 15, 1,600 employees in the hospital, right? So I have interaction with a lot of people, and I hear a lot of conversations. These people are going on these $3,000-4,000 trips, damn
Yeah,
near every other month, and I know they broke. I
yeah.
know you're broke. I
And
know
they
you,
put it on
and,
credit
and
cards
they
and
go
all
more.
this.
They just go. The money go out. They be like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna go all out," instead of trying to hunker down.
What you got to lose? I get it. And like I said, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, and I on my channel, I got like this running joke where I like kind of like I pick at the 800 credit score people. I'm like, oh yeah, the 800 credit score people, they think they better than everybody. But like they think they better than everybody. Like you
Yeah,
can't
my
talk to
dad
them.
is like that.
Yeah.
He
But
brags about his 800 credit score all the time.
yeah, they love it.
And he be like, "Why ain't you got an 8? Why ain't got?" Man, it took you 60 years to get an 800 credit score. Shut up.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so, even with that, when you start talking about just money at all, right? There are some people that in 2024, like I get very frustrated with people that it's almost like they get off on feeling like they are superior to somebody,
Yeah,
like financially superior. If, and they want to be obtuse for no reason. Like it's not even called for. we can all agree that life is substantially more expensive in 2024 than it was in 2020. It's not up for debate, it's not subjective. There is data to support this is the highest inflation we have had in my lifetime. I'm 41 years old. We've not had inflation like this since Ronald Reagan. Things are way more expensive. A freaking Toyota Camry is $40,000. Like, so this whole I'm up here, I'm high in the sky, y'all get your finances together. You can live on $5,000 a month. Don't nobody need more than it. It makes me, I hear those things from people, and it makes me second and third guess other things about them. I'm like, why are you going out of your way to say something that is categorically not true? You
Mm-hmm.
cannot purchase a house in most urban areas making $60,000 a year. It can't be done. And again, in most urban areas. Now, if you want to go down to Dillon, South Carolina and get you a house for $130,000, go for it. But in most urban areas, that dog don't hunt.
Mm-hmm.
If you are single, most people aren't single. Most people, they have children. Most people in certain communities aren't married. So there are a lot of things that go into that. And so for somebody to like go out of their way to be like, yeah, $5,000 a month, that's plenty of money. You live below your means. If you were living below your means, making $5,000 a month in 2020, you are no longer living below your means in 2024 because that has caught up to you. Even if your spending has been the same, your expenses have increased involuntarily just because it costs $10.99 a pound to get bacon.
Mm-hmm. Look,
So it frustrates
my
me when
grocery
people act like those things aren't happening.
my grocery bill, and it's just me in this house, and I don't buy a lot of groceries,
Mhm.
has gone up. It has increased by $150.
Mhm.
That is insane for the
Yeah.
same amount of food. For the same amount of food, it's insanity. Um, when your car got repossessed,
Mhm.
what did you do next?
My friends paid to get my car back. I didn't do nothing. I was like, okay.
Your
I knew somebody
your
was gonna
guy
take me
friend
to
or
work.
your guy friend or your friends?
My friends.
Oh, they got together, powwow, and said, "No, we're not having this."
Yeah. Mm, I had like five friends. I think they gave me like $250 each, something like that. My friends paid to get my car back.
I need them kind of. Well, I need. Can they be my friends too?
Mm.
They got husbands now, don't they? So they can't be friends with me because they. I got one friend, and he might give me $70 on a good day if I need it.
No, they did. They did because I didn't care. I did not care. I didn't have nothing to lose. I didn't care. I was like, well, somebody can take me to work. I knew nobody was just gonna stand around and not let me get to work every day. I wasn't worried about that.
Really? How? I mean, how did you know that?
Deductive reasoning. Like they know I got a kid. I somebody gonna get I'll get to
I find that mindset fascinating because
work.
if somebody repossessed my shit today, I'm not sitting there thinking, "Oh, somebody gonna get me to work." No, ain't nobody coming.
Mm-mm.
They
I
they
really
they
won't worry about it.
they're gonna be looking at me just like I said to you. What are you gonna do, bro? They ain't gonna be like, "Oh, let me help you. Oh, let me get you to work." I'm on my own.
I don't
That is
know.
fucking
I
fascinating to
wasn't.
me.
Mm-mm. I was just like, well, like I said, I was relieved. It was a relief. It was something I didn't have to think about. I was like, great, one expense gone. Thank God. Yeah. So I
My buddy
didn't
Cole,
care.
my buddy Kofa, Grow Talk with Kofa. Kofa said, "The grace of being a woman, Lord." That is fascinating. That is absolutely fascinating. And I tell people all the time, some things are a double standard, and it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it
You,
was whatever.
I
So
just, I did not expect that response out of you. I really did not expect you to say, somebody was going. I just, because that's not how. As a dude, I don't think no one's come that will. No, I don't think that. I don't. I'm befuddled over here over that one because I just
I
doesn't.
didn't. I don't know. I mean, it could have just. I don't know. It wasn't. It literally in my head. I was like, well, somebody get me to work. I really did. Yeah. Mhm.
Damn, that must be
Yeah.
nice. So okay, let's fast forward. You had a foreclosure, right?
That was in 2011.
What happened? Was that during that
The
time where
bank.
you were transitioning? No, I know the bank came and got your house, but I'm just saying, was that during that transitional period between um, you leaving education and you walking into the mortgage business?
Mm-mm. Nope, that was before. So that was my transition from being a. What was I doing?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Oh, 2008. That's what happened. So in 2008, okay, let me back up to give the timeline and context. In 2006, I was working in a radio station. 2006, 7, 8, I worked in a radio station. In 2008, I believe it was like May of 2008. So my grandma died April of 2008. So in 2000, like May of 2008, I think it was like the end of May, they let me go. Me and this other pregnant girl. I was pregnant. Me and this other pregnant girl got let go
How dare
um,
they?
on the radio station. Now, remember, like I said, you got to think about it. We were selling radio advertising. 2008, like everything started slowing down. It was it was what it was. Like they was like, okay, two pregnant girls, let's go. Cause what was we finna do? We wasn't gonna help. We wasn't contributing nothing, or we weren't going to. Right? It just kind of, I guess, made sense. Right? So I went home and I stayed home from 2008 to 2010. Yeah. During that time, I was like, oh, I can get my degree because I had a year. So Barack Obama had a year of unemployment. And I think I was getting like $1,600 or something like that at the time for unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was living with his dad. So we were splitting things or whatever. And so um
You
eight,
said you
nine,
was living with his dad.
we were living together. Yeah, I
Okay.
had a townhome. I had bought a townhome in 2006.
Okay.
I did. I bought a
Oh,
townhome in 2006.
yeah, I got that. You did.
Okay. No, that's important because in I think anytime someone is practicing any discipline, a lot of your prior experiences come into play in your business practices, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of times, some of the things that I say, I don't just like be plucking it off of a tree. I'm saying things from my life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, so I got the house in 2000. I bought a townhome in 2006. I stopped working in 2008. I had Jalen in 2008. And then in 2010, I went back to school. Somewhere in there, I went back to school. Um, got my master was I was getting my master's degree. I started teaching in 2010, and then like in 2011 they was like, yeah, girl, wrap this up. So that's what happened with that.
And you lost. And was your Jalen's father living with you when you lost the home?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Mm. I
So
don't know. I'm just kind of thinking. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to project any judgment. But normally I don't care about projecting judgment. But I'm just kind of thinking about. I'm not 100% sure what I would do if my daughter's mother was losing her place to stay. I'm not sure.
well,
I'm
I
not
didn't
sure.
know what was happening. So again, like The way that mortgages are set up in 2024 are
Hmm.
nothing like they functioned back in 2000, in the early 2000s.
Right. Yeah. If you
Everything
stop
now,
paying now, you stop paying now. They'll work. I mean, they'll put payments on the back end. They'll do all kind of stuff for you.
yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot more modification, and then the way that they do things is uniform. There was no uniform standard of practice then. They was like full steam ahead. We don't care what you say. It didn't matter. They had me filling out the same documents over and over and over and over again, resubmitting the same stuff over again. All the while, I'm thinking it's fine, and they were still moving forward. I didn't know, so that's what happened with that. It was, I mean, it is what
Okay.
it is. No big deal. I mean, and then
So,
the other thing, I think that it's funny to me because I don't care about stuff. Like people think I care about stuff. I don't. I don't care about stuff. You
but you buy stuff, but you
I
want
buy
a lot of money.
yes, it's fun to do that, but I don't live and die by stuff. Like I've always been like that. It's just a thing. It's okay. It's not the it's okay. And I don't have no ego. I don't have no ego. I don't have no pride. I don't care. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it bothers me absolutely none whatsoever. Like you go through life experiences, you get what you get from them, and you try to apply that in the future if you can. But no, it's just yes, that is what happened. So I
Okay.
had that. I then in my next career transition from being a teacher to a loan officer, I lost my car. Got the car back. And I remember it being some, I'm gonna say friction, but I do remember there being, well, Joy, why don't you just go back to being a teacher? No, because I knew in my soul I was doing the right thing. I knew it had to be better on the other side. I knew it. It had to be. And so if
That's a
I
rare
would have,
instinct.
yeah, but like I
That's
said,
rare. A
it's
lot of people don't know that it's better on the other side. A lot of people, when they're in it, all they can see is them being in it.
yeah. But that's
Mm.
that's because they be worried about what everybody else is thinking and what everybody else is saying. You can't be worried about what other people you have to live with your decisions. You trying to satisfy the wants and needs and desires that other people think that they have for what you have for your life. You're gonna lose every single time.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. If I lose both of my, I work two jobs. If I lose them both, I already have a plan for what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because the one thing, and there's also something magical about the 40 number, the four number, is that you lived enough life to let you know that no matter what happens, everything gonna be all right. If you
Yeah,
just get up the next day,
it
put your
is.
pants on, and do the thing that you did to get you where you to when you were successful.
Yeah.
I've learned I don't work. So let me tell you something. When I go up on these white people jobs, the white man job. When I go up on the white man job, I don't. People are hard pressed to believe that I no longer have an ounce of fear of what they will do on that job. Not
Mm-mm.
a piece. If
No.
you get out of pocket with me, I'm not walking on no eggshells. If you at my hospital, it was told to me several months ago that the department supervisor, not the director, but the department supervisor, has enlisted a crew of people to help her separate me from my employment. And you know what I said to them? Good luck. Good luck with that. I hope she has fun with her crusade, and I hope those that are helping on her crusade, I hope they enjoy it too. And I said, and I said that will not deter nor stop what I do, what I say, how I move. And I
Mhm.
said, to the person, and hopefully we got back to him. I said I said the minions, they can go fuck themselves, and I said, and the supervisor can go fuck herself too. That, and I
Yeah.
know it got because I know it will be all right. Even if she's able to do it, it will be all right.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that having a level of faith Um, in for me, I am a Christian.
You a
Um,
Christian,
I try to live by Christian principles. I be trying. Um,
but you want a partner. I'm
but
I'm, I'm just meddling.
honey, I ain't thinking about no man right now, to be honest with you.
You
But
should,
I I am I do. There is something that I do. I operate off of. Well, it worked out before, it'll work out again. It just and just having that faith. And you're right, getting up every single day. I'm not saying it's gonna be fun getting up every single day. It's gonna hurt. Like I was like this last year in 2023, like the bottom fell out with the rates and everything like that. I was depressed, I think.
I told you I'm stuck in my house because I want to get. Most people don't know I want out of my house,
Hmm.
but I'm stuck.
A
I
lot of
got a
people.
I got a 3.2% interest rate.
Hmm.
Even if I go into a house half the size, I'm
Yeah,
going to be paying what I'm paying now or more with
yeah,
half the house. I want
yeah.
out of this house and I'm stuck here.
A lot
Well,
of
I,
people
I
feel like
I shouldn't
that.
say I'm stuck. I can get rid of it, but the alternative is to go rent someplace or get some. The alternative, it doesn't make any business sense for me to do anything right now because I'm not. It's just look. I would bail if the rates dropped to 5%. I would bail. I'll take the loss.
Everybody is. That's what people are waiting on.
Yep.
So there's research that shows exactly what you said is true. Once we get to the five handle, it's a wrap. It is
Yep.
a wrap. Everybody that has been preparing and they have their stuff their ducks in a row, they out of there. That is 100%
Joy. I'm
research based
stacking.
truth.
I'm stacking money to cut my losses.
Yeah, a lot of people feel like that. And
And I,
I mean,
and
that's
my home particular. It's not that my home. I'm not upside down on my home. I will
Mhm,
probably break even because of the area that I moved into is on the decline.
mhm,
So I'm going to break even. I paid a little bit more for the house than I probably should have, but
mhm.
I've thrown so much at it to where I am confident that I can get it for what I owe on it now, which is
Yeah.
probably a break even point for me, which is it's too much house. I've cluttered it out, this big ass house, and I don't like the neighborhood. I've never liked the neighborhood, and I think I'd rather go someplace smaller where I actually enjoy the neighborhood.
Mhm.
Hmm. And I'm just waiting.
But that's real estate. It's okay. I think again, and I believe your audience is primarily African American. So I believe again, based on statistics. Well, I don't believe. I know Black people own homes the least out of every other demographic, right?
Demographic. Yep. Yep.
And it's for a variety of reasons. But it kind of goes back to if it ain't guaranteed, they don't want no parts of it. And unfortunately, real estate is not guaranteed. Nobody, all of the people, let me say this, all of the people that were serving real estate up on a platter of it's a guarantee, get in, make $100,000, get out, like it's quick money. Real estate is a long game. It's always been and it always will be. These last 3 years, 4 years have been an anomaly. We've literally seen the pendulum swing from one extreme to the other. The one extreme was interest rates were all time low. The other extreme is interest rates at the highest that they've been in 20 years. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And so, you know, people are online on these social media platforms, and I spend a lot of time on TikTok and, of course, YouTube, but I spend a lot of time on TikTok. And right now, it's become socially acceptable to make fun of the idea of being a homeowner. And it's very, very disappointing because everybody, from my vantage point, I don't want to say I'm a little jaded, but you know, I'm wondering in terms of my career, will I enjoy it the same way that I did before?
Mm,
Meaning, let's not play parse words. I got paid very well. Now it's kind of like, dang, am I gonna get back to that again? Is it gonna be the same? Because people can't qualify for homes the way that they did before. It's just mathematically, it's not possible.
okay. I
Even
want
when interest rates come down, there are some people that will never be able to buy a home. I do not want to mince words about that. Some people miss their window because they was too busy listening to their cousins and their friends and their aunties that ain't never bought nothing.
so why would they why would you believe can you give us some specific examples of why they're the group of people that might not be able to
Poor
buy a
people,
home anymore? Huh?
poor people.
Well, you got to define poor people because I think I'm pretty poor.
Y'all don't want my definition of poor people.
No,
Y'all
no,
don't
no,
show
no. Yeah, 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 I do. I mean, you're in the business, so this is not
right
like
now. Honestly, like $100,000, if you making $100,000, like you sort of making it. And again,
it
obviously, it
feels like.
depends
Let
on
me tell
where
you
you
something.
are geographically. Like your geographic region does influence that some. But I said that on the internet, what was it, January, February 2023? And boy, the pitchforks came out for me. I was like, okay, you gotta believe me. I know all I do all day long is look at credit reports and tell people how much house they can buy. And
What are you seeing? What are you seeing as far the credit reports? What are you seeing in uh, what with people's credit right now? What are the biggest problems? Is it the credit itself or the what kind of things are hanging their credit up? And then what is the income? And then what are their expectations versus what you're pulling and seeing?
I think that when it comes to home ownership for specifically a first time buyer, they have no reference point. Like you don't know how much something costs until you know how much it costs.
Yeah,
Like I remember not knowing how much refrigerators cost until I had to go get one, and I was like,
stop playing.
$2,500? What?
Look,
Right?
I, I'm gonna tell you,
It's insane.
sure.
So again, kind of going back to my thing when people are like, "Oh, you got to live below your budget," whatever. Well, you can't help what things cost, and so I think that when I'll say $60,000, that's the number that I'm gonna use. When people call and they're like, "I want to buy a house," and this is real math, y'all. This is how it works. When people are like, "Oh, I want to buy a house," I say, "Okay, how much money do you have for this investment?" Because it's not a cost, it's an investment. You are moving your money from your bank account into the house. It is an asset. So, how much money do you have? Oh, I saved up $5,000. Okay. I take your $60,000 a year is $5,000 a month. We're automatically going to cut that in half. You can't spend no more than $2,500 a month, roughly. This is just for illustration purposes. But you can take $2,500 a month, and now we got to figure out from that $2,500 your car, your credit cards, your student loans, and your house payment. Once you get to your 30s, which 33, 34 is the average age of a first-time home buyer, there's almost 0% chance that you coming to me and you have no car, no credit cards, no student loans, no nothing. So you're coming into the situation with some debt, and they severely underestimate what that payment is going to look like. And they'll say, "Oh yeah, I want to get a no, 4 bedroom house, $300,000." Oh, okay. Well, how much would you like for your mortgage to be? Like, what's your budget? $1,000 a month, you're not getting it. It's not going to happen for you. It's over. It's over before it started. And so when I take that $2,500 and I had to subtract out $725 a month for the Honda Accord, and I got to take out, $200 for the student loan, and then I got to take out, $400 for credit cards, it's over. There's nothing left to talk about. So yes, when I'm like $60,000 is not a lot of money, well, it's not. It simply is not. It's not. And so again, this goes back to this whole, why are you so scared to go into careers that are going to pay more? You can live the life that you have desired if you choose to go into a, yeah,
I heard that one.
if you can live a life that you really desire if you are willing to take certain risks and make certain intentional life calculations. What I'm saying is the tail is wagging the dog a lot of times instead of it being the other way around. Now, no shade. I'm not. I mean this from my heart. But America is formulaic. And if you choose to follow the formula, you are probably going to be more successful than the person that is choosing to go against the grain of the formula. It's prescriptive. You're going to stop trying to be, I think a lot of times Black people try to be the exception to the rule. We are rule breakers. We are rebels.
We
We
want
don't
to be
want to follow the rules.
nope.
We
We
don't
want to
want
be
to go to college.
nope.
We want to get into cryptocurrency because we saw it on YouTube. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on? Do you remember in 2020, 2021, everybody had a course. Everybody had a course. I was like, y'all know y'all can't go to college, right? You know that's that's an option. Because you're taking these courses to learn how to do stuff. You're not getting no certificate. You're not getting a degree. And what are you getting back for it? It just didn't make sense to me. So anyway, I say that to say we have to be a lot more intentional and more strategic with what we do. I have a post on my TikTok right now. I think it got 2.7 million views. And the post was simply about, I said, hey, right now, a lot of millennials are upset because you need to have about $120,000 on your loan application to be able to be approved for the average purchase price in America, which is roughly $400,000. Here are some careers that make $100,000. And I inserted a clip from something that I found on Instagram. And those people were in tech. I said, hey, a lot of people that follow me, they make $150,000, $200,000 a year. Put in the comments what you do to make that type of money. Because honestly, proximity prosperity is very important. If you've never seen it, you've never been around it, you don't know nobody that got it. It sounds like this pie in the sky idea. $100,000 is not a lot of money. That is not the goal. If $100,000 is the goal, I don't know where you're gonna end up in 20 years. It can't, like, that was the goal in 1980. And to be living by that in 2024, 40 years later, is absolutely wild to me.
You know what
But
I hear? Here's the thing. Here's what I'm hearing. $100,000. No, it's not a lot to get to. But the thing is, it seems insurmountable to a lot of people because Joy, let's be keep it a buck. The majority of Black folks out here doing this shit alone.
that's my point. It's about seeing it and knowing that it's attainable. Even
Ex-
so, so
Especially if you're with somebody. If you get out of your way and get somebody too. So like
or you could just make better choices. Like, no, I
that
hear
better
you,
choice.
but no, you don't like shout out to the hairdressers, but you don't just got to do hair. Like, it's not like, oh, they don't make a lot of money, but most hairdressers are not knocking it out the park. Okay. Like, it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you can be engineers, you can be doctors, you can be a pharmacist. There's lots and lots of choices. You can get into finance, you can get into sales, but it goes back to this fear that I was talking about. Sometimes you got to be okay with losing everything and starting all over again.
Boom. And I've
You
done
just,
that a bunch of
it's
times.
okay. Nobody that's been successful, I've never known any successful person to say that they story went just like this. It just doesn't.
No.
They filed bankruptcy several times, sometimes. Like, you have to be okay with taking risks. And we have to be more intentional with the trajectory we're putting ourselves on. Shout out to the teachers. I love the teachers. I know the teachers love the kids. But beloved, sugar plum.
Right on. Hey, hey, Joe, I got somebody in the background. I think he wants to ask a question. You mind taking a question?
Okay.
He's a decent guy. Let's see where we at. Trey Ferg, what's up, man?
What's up, brother TJ? How you doing?
I'm
Hold on.
good. How you doing?
Seems like I got an echo. You hear echo?
I don't hear nothing.
Oh, okay. Can y'all hear me good?
Yeah, we can hear you good.
Oh man, it seems like I'm like no gymnasium amplifier or something. Yeah, I was listening to the topic a few minutes back where she was just talking about trying to qualify for a home and having the resources to qualify. And I do have a question, but I just want to put this comment here. But I'm living sort of dynamic what she's talking about on the flip side, meaning me and my wife, we've been able to, uh, I guess, negate the issues a lot of people are having just since right prior to COVID, because we purchased a home in December of 19. Then COVID came,
Ooh.
and by us being able to work together, we were able to, if not sustain, we were able to increase our abundance during that time. And then since that time, right in the height of the highest number of inflations and mortgage rates in the last 2 to 3 years, again, based off the ability to work together, we've been able to purchase a brand new home straight from the ground up and still maintain the same lifestyle, if not more. Now, what I also found out in that time is that I don't think a lot of us really see it. You need at least $10,000 more today than you needed 4 years ago to maintain that regular lifestyle that you were having. And it's unfortunate for us. We, our youngest adults, coming out of high school, getting out into the force, we're basically ruining our credit by before age 24, 25. We've already spent our limits trying to buy the latest instead of thinking about, let me put a little bit away, let me save a little. So when you get to mid 20s, late 20s, 30s, when you say, okay, I'm looking to come in with my $5,000 already, just money to purchase the house alone, not the $5,000 total going to all my bills. A lot of us are not able to do it because we've already accumulated 15, 20, $30,000 in overhead, and we still haven't even, some of us do it and we don't even have apartments or cars. So it's just unfortunate, and I hope that, I don't know, something can give. Also with these wars, people don't really people that didn't join the military don't think about the wars in that capacity. The defense gets the top dollar. Defense and medical get top dollar off every dollar. So everything else just dwindles down. And I think it's even more important for people to try to work together, especially going to the future, because right now it could be ground zero for most people of color, unfortunately, because nobody's working together. And so, but I do want to ask the question. I didn't hear you, but I'm assuming that you're a real estate agent, correctly?
I'm a mortgage loan officer.
Oh, okay, okay. So you're a little higher up. You ain't out there. be
I handle
be
the finance
understatement.
part of it.
So in reference to, and I heard you mention something about $5,000, and I know the interest rates are hovering over 5%, which is really a lot when you're looking at a $300,000 mortgage. Um, what? And this is a very simple question. What's the average pay a real estate agent would typically bring home off the sales of today? Because most homes are $300,000, especially a new home. It's over $300,000, and that's just a flat, no basement, no nothing special. So what is that
Well,
number looking like? What
I
would
don't
my down payment be? I have a 750 credit score. I have $5,000 basically exposable income.
Mhm,
I paid all my bills, and I have about $10,000 saved up.
mhm.
Would I be able to purchase a home, 3 bedroom, basement, finished basement, 2 car garage? Or would I need a supplement of income, spouse, partner?
So the did you ask how much realtors make? Or realtors, Lord,
No, no,
realtors.
no. If I was to purchase a home, how much do you think I would need? I have $5,000 disposable income for the home, and I have about
So
$10,000 down payment. Mm.
okay, so a general rule of thumb is you can probably comfortably afford about 3 or 3.5 times your annual salary. So if somebody's coming to me and they're like, "Oh, I want to buy a $400,000 house. I make 60,000, baby, it's over for you. You're
So
not buying I'm not being mean. It's the math, and I think that's the part that people keep getting tripped up on. It's math. It works the same for everybody. It works exactly the same for every single person. It's math. So no, like you're not getting a $300,000 house because 6 times 3 is 180. So you might be talking about like maybe 220, something like that, maybe at comfortable. If you want to push it a little bit, maybe you get 275, but then you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be on the internet mad at everybody. Oh, I can't afford my house. Yeah, I know. I know.
So if they're
It's just
coming to the so if they're coming to the table with this with the premise that what Trey Ferg mentioned, 750 credit score, because you and I talked about this a little bit. 750 credit score, take home a 5 grand a month, but got $10,000 down. What kind of house can they get? But they want a $350,000 house.
that's what I'm
Is it
saying.
feasible?
I mean, if your loan amount is 3 times your salary, you can have whatever you want. As long as you can get that purchase minus that down payment and that loan amount equals that amount. That's gonna be it. That is the formula. You can get roughly 3.5 times whatever your annual salary is for a loan. Because remember, your should be roughly 25 to 30% of your monthly income. That's the formula.
Dang.
that's true.
Talk about, you said that you've seen people with 800 credit scores and not be able to get approved for a loan.
Mhm.
Can you talk about that?
So what I have learned is, and I had to get somebody to actually explicitly say this to me because I didn't connect the dots. I remember being a little frustrated. This is in like 2021 because I would get people that would want to apply for a loan, and I'd be having conversations with the realtor, and the realtor's like, "Well," I'm like, "Well, I'm making this up just for the point. Well, they work at Waffle House, so I don't know. I don't think it's gonna work out. Well, okay, well, just see if they can get down payment assistance. Down payment assistance is not gonna get you the house. It's your income. And so you can have an 800 credit score all day long, but if your income does not support the payment, the answer is no every time. And I remember hearing this lady say, I
Golly.
remember hearing this lady explicitly say to me, She said, really? I always heard that if you got good credit, you could get anything that you want. And that is what people say. They like, oh, if you got credit, you can get anything you want.
You
Yeah,
want
anything but a house. You can't get a house. Credit is important ish, sort of, maybe, Them 800 credit score people, they gonna tell me I'm wrong, but I mean, I don't care. You don't sue people for houses.
you gonna do?
But it's the income. The income is the most important piece, which again, if we are not making strategic and intentional decisions when it comes to how we are earning income, it's not going to happen. I don't know what else to say. It's very concerning because to TJ's point, he always likes to talk about, joining with somebody and being married or having a partner or what have you.
I ain't saying
We
about no partner.
and
I ain't saying
so
about no partner.
we don't do that. And so while yes, that would be very helpful. If I make 60, you make 60. Now we in there. Okay. And I'm not talking about no boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm talking about married people. Because y'all, quiet as it's kept, we laugh at you behind your back about that stuff. Like real estate people think that's funny. We because
But
we see what
the boyfriend girlfriend's coming to the table. That's crazy.
yeah.
That's insanity. I want to tackle this question up here, but I want to answer it a different. I want to ask it a different way. Okay,
Mhm.
so he's talking about people. He want to encourage more black men to enter into the healthcare field because of the income. Let me tell you something about entering. He talking about specifically nurses, respiratory therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists. Here's what I ran into, and this is what people say. You work in the healthcare field, you make money. That's true with an asterisk
Mhm.
next to it. So there's a base salary. There's what they're gonna pay you per hour, period. But that ain't what you can earn. You understand what I'm saying? So let's just say my base salary as because I'm a respiratory therapist. Let me be. I'm a critical care respiratory therapist, by the way. Which is I'm getting a distinction, meaning I deal with all the decapitations, drive-by shootings, and all that. That's me. So let's just say I have a base salary of 70. That's my base salary, but I can earn 180, 200. So when I'm coming to the table, I'm not gonna come to you with a 700 credit score because I got challenges. I mean, with an 800 credit score, I got challenges. I'm gonna come to you with a 705, but I'm presenting you 3 months of pay stubs that's got $9,000 a month, but that's not my base salary. So how do you handle that? I kind of know because I went through it when I bought my house. But how do you handle that in calculation about what they can afford when you got a base salary, but you have the potential to earn 2 or 3 times what your base salary is?
Okay. So it's like dating. We don't care about your potential. We want to know your track record, right? What what did you
I'm done with
do?
you. I'm done with you.
What when we are evaluating someone as a potential borrower, we're evaluating you like when you're dating someone. Who was your last boo or your last bae? Why y'all break up? What happened? How many relationships did you have over the last 2 or 3 years? They just fell off the planet? Like, did you bury them in the backyard? Like, who are you? Right? And the reason why we're looking specifically at like the last 24 months of your life is to determine your character. Are you a stable person? Or did you just run up on some luck and get a job as a respiratory therapist? Your base salary is, I don't know, $5,000 a month, and you work a lot of shift differentials and overtime one month, and now you got 9,000. We're not gonna give you a lifestyle based off of 1 month's worth of work. We're gonna give you a lifestyle based off of your life. We're evaluating. So when you have what we call variable income means it could go up, it could go down over time if you choose to do it. We need to have a history of 2 years. And we're going to take that 2 years and we're going to do an average. And when we average that 2 years, we're saying, okay, well, I guess, for example, you have 2 full-time jobs. All right, you've done it for 2 years. You're probably going to continue to still be that same person that has this impeccable work ethic that you have 2 full-time jobs, right? Back in the day, like when I bought my house in 2005, 6, I, I was in between jobs. I was moving from Greensboro to Charlotte. I hadn't started my job yet. They was like, okay, well, we just gonna switch loan products. Boom, 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 get in the house. Ooh, okay. That didn't end well. So we're looking at who you are as a person. The thing is, okay, I'll stop with that. Okay, that's the
No, no,
answer
no.
to.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was gonna expound a little bit more about this whole like 2-year thing. The
Mm-hmm.
reason why everything is the rule is we look at the last 2 years of your life to project who you're going to be for the next 3 years, because we consider a decision, a credit decision is okay. You can make these payments. We don't want you to make the payments. We want you to stay in the house. And so what we consider a performing loan is somebody who can make payments for 3 years. Okay. So the thing is about these 2 years, I think it's really important to understand, like, you can have little hiccups, like here and there. Overall, who are you? Who are you? When you are going into these credit situations, you start out with a 493 FICO score, like I did when I was getting ready to buy my house. Remember, I told you I had a repossession. Remember that story? I started my credit score like a 493, something like that, or whatever, in 2015, and I bought my house in 2017. It takes time to become a bill payer. You don't just magically pay somebody $200 and you get a 650 FICO score and you're like, oh, I'm ready to buy a house. No, you're not. You still trifling. You still the same person. You're not a bill payer. Thing that happens when you have to pay bills on time to increase your credit, you take on a new identity. You are now a bill payer, and come hell or high water, you gonna fight anybody that comes in between you and paying them bills on time. And we love that for you. Okay, we do. So that's the thing about these quick fixes. Everybody wanna, all you gotta do is like, no, we it's a process. It's a process. And it's okay for it to be a process. When you have, I don't know, I keep using this number. If you earn $5,000 a month and you saying, well, I pay $2,500 in rent, why won't they give me a house? Because you just asked me for down payment assistance, and you're asking me for down payment assistance because you don't have enough of a gap between the money that you earn and your bills to save. This space is savings. You don't have it. So why do you think that your rent gonna go from here and your mortgage gonna do this? Your rent ain't gonna go rent to mortgage. You going from rent to mortgage. When you have that space and you have to take a little bit and store it away every month, you're being forced to live a little bit lower than that. And when that happens, you become a saver. You now take on a new identity as someone that saves, someone that pays bills on time. And we love that for you. And it doesn't happen in 4 months or 6 months. It takes literally 12 to 18 months for that thing to start to turn around. And that is the formula to buying a house. It takes
She was
time.
so nasty and so rude that I don't ever bring anybody around me like that.
So nasty.
And that's what happened.
So rude. So nasty and so rude.
You're wrong, man. Um,
They're not gonna like. They're not gonna like that, Joy.
It's okay. It's all right.
And I'm just saying. I mean, when I started my process, it was an education or a re-education. I had owned a home once before, but it had been so long, and so everything that I knew, I didn't. I threw that out the window. I had to throw it out the window because it was so different the way that they're looking at things now. You know, it was quite because I thought, oh, and I'm so glad that it worked out the way it worked out for me because I was a little bit ticked when it came back to tell me how much house I could buy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, but I over the last 3 years I've earned X, Y, and Z, and they did the average. They averaged it.
Mm-hmm.
They averaged it, and then they went back and told me, we know how long you've been working on rebuilding your credit.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what? Yeah, they knew they could tell when I started the process of knocking stuff down, fixing stuff, all of that. They saw all of that. They could see all of that. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, and here's the other part that they don't understand that people don't that's a shock to people is when you're in the middle of that process, or let's say you get a pre-approval, you're in the middle of that process when they tell you can't spend any your own money. That if you need to make a purchase, you gotta come ask to make a damn purchase.
It don't be that extreme unless
It,
you're tight. But
Joy,
yeah.
them jokers told me, and
You remember my credit?
I had over 40 grand in my account for them jokers gonna tell me, yeah, if you need to make a purchase over $500, we're not talking about your regular bills, but yeah, you might want to run that by us first just to make sure it's not going to impact anything. What if I can't get a hold? What was that, Joy?
I mean, it just like I said, it honestly is a case by case. Some people are blithering idiots and they'll spend all of their down payment and closing costs money. I have known that to happen before. They've shown us the money on the bank statements, everything, and they go under contract, and it's time. All right. They like, oh, I spent the money. I know John Brown well, you ain't spent all this time saving up all your money, and we went through all of this, and you spent. I didn't know I needed it. I thought so. Daniel makes a good point. He says we need financial education, and this is no shade at all, y'all.
What's the difference between chasing a bag and financial education?
The problem that we are having right now is not financial education. It's plain flat out literacy. And I'm not talking financial literacy. I'm talking about basic literary skills. Remember when I said I taught language arts, 7th and 8th grade language arts?
Uh-huh.
You learn about context clues and making inferences and processing information and analyzing and learning how to evaluate information. People are blithering idiots. And it's a nation full of people walking around. Y'all remember the movie Lean on Me? The movie came out about 40 years ago. That means we got 40 years of grown people walking around that cannot hardly read. Things have not gotten better. They've gotten worse. The literacy levels are lower now than they were then. That is the core problem. Like what I started realizing, and the more time I spend on social media, a lot of people are like, they get in the comments and they're arguing and stuff. And I realized people start making points about absolutely nothing. I'm like, hold on, main idea. Let's stay focused. We right here. Why are you talking about this thing over here? We come back here. People do not know how to stay on the main idea. They cannot stay focused. So no, they're struggling to make 6-figure purchases. They don't, I'm like cognitively, like I really need this to be studied. Like there's a link between what is happening right now with finances and how people are getting on it. I didn't know my taxes and insurance to go up. Well, it says so right there. It's a line item right here. Well, y'all should have told me. There's literacy is auditory, it's your listening skills. You get the same benefit listening to a book on Audible that you do if you sit down and you actually look at the words on the page. Your brain does the same exact things. Your brain cannot tell between the two. So if you can't handle reading, why in Sam Hill do you expect me to be able to talk you through it? You're not going to understand it then either. That's a huge problem that we have right now. But you know, whatever. I digress. Somebody will talk about it. Don't nobody want to raise their hand and be like, "Yeah, I can't read good." But go ahead.
Mickey has a question for you if you want to take it. Joy, it's I guess it's for everybody. He said, "Do you believe black men and black women should be more pragmatic rather than romantic in terms of marriage in order to build wealth?" I don't know. I don't like that. And
Oh,
purchase
that ain't
homes
my
and
area
financial
of
institutions.
expertise.
Huh?
I don't know. That ain't my area of expertise. I don't be getting into the whole like relationship thing. I don't
It's
care.
about
Whatever they want
um,
to do.
Both things can be true at the same time in this question. You should always be pragmatic as an adult. Anytime you looking to make any type of major purchase outside of buying the knockoff clothes that we like to buy, a car purchase, just in trying to finding the right avenues to invest your money, a home purchase, you should always be pragmatic. Now, what I wouldn't do outside of this is get a home outside of marriage. I wouldn't do that. So if you, and it's just me, I could have had homes years before I got married. I wasn't going to do it because one, I didn't want to be stuck in a place until I knew I wanted to start settling down. And then when I got married, then thank God that I found somebody on the same level as me as far as thinking about being more pragmatic about how they spend their money, how they invest for the future. So what is it, 13, 22, 9 years into the marriage, I'm retired at 50, at 54, now 56 years old. And everything about my income is doubled, tripled. Everything about her income is doubled and tripled. Savings have doubled and tripled.
mhm.
So, you know, you have to be thinking about being both pragmatic and romantic. Ain't nothing wrong with a little romance. And the loving's a little better when your pockets and bellies are full. Believe that.
Yeah. Trey, Joy, you can answer if you want on this one, but I think you and I've talked about this before. I got a question. Um, you got a lot of sisters out here, and this is kind of piggybacking on Mackie's Samuel's question. You got a lot of sisters out here who are homeowners,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a portion of brothers that are homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you get those two together when they both got homes? Who goes where? Who does what? Because I told Joy at one point, I said there's no incentive for a guy if he's not doesn't have a family. There's no incentive for him to buy a home. Home represents stability, but then you got all these sisters out here with the homes, so it creates an interesting dynamic when you're talking about trying to get together. What do you think about that, Trish? Because you say that you weren't thinking about no home until you thought about, where you're going to be permanently in with somebody.
I think a couple of things. So one thing I will say, and it's not necessarily about relationship, but just something that I see. Um, you gotta be a little bit more evenly yoked because a lot of times I look at these situations and the husband holding the whole situation back from being able to move forward, or the wife holding the whole situation back from being able to move forward. A lot of times people don't know who they are getting with financially. They be wanting to get with people because they cute, which I mean, it's all fine and good when you 25, but when it comes time for these major purchases and you have to float it by yourself because the person that you like, that's my man, my man, my man. You like what, girl? You want to get a different one. So I do think that that's something that is important, but a lot of people, it's frowned upon to judge somebody based on their finances. And I'm not saying like don't get with somebody because they got bad credit. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, and I'm not saying like get with somebody because they have money, but I'm saying you have to look at the entire situation. Like where y'all going? And can y'all both get there together? Or because like if you are you holding me back? Are you pulling me down? Because it's a lot easier to pull somebody down than to pull somebody up. And especially in some of these spousal states like Texas, when you get married, the if me and TJ on we try and get along, right? And let's say we're married, and let's say TJ make all the money. TJ makes a decent amount of money because y'all remember we just got done talking about like $100,000 like your starting point. So he got $100,000, and let's say I make 90, and he like, oh, this is great, but my credit is trash. I can't be on the loan. Well, if he making 100 and I'm making 90, I'm probably living like I make 90, and I probably got a car. I probably got student loans and everything. Well, in states like Texas, I can't be on the loan, so my income can't be on the loan. However, because of spousal state, guess what does have to be on that loan? My debt. Now, him by himself, he has to qualify for this house for us, and he got to not only be able to carry his debt, but he got to carry my debt too. You gotta know who you know what I'm saying, like who these people are that you are in
That's what.
relationship with when it
That's
comes to
why
the.
I believe in the one pot rule. That's why I believe in a one pot rule because, and then here's the thing: if you're gonna marry, I don't. If you decide to marry somebody, I don't have a problem if y'all sit down and run credit scores at that juncture and say and put all the I will say the locked away clause and stuff on the table. And then if y'all gonna get married, then y'all work out a plan to fix that so you don't run into that problem. But the thing is, we're not pragmatic. We don't do that. We just go pay the $50 to the court fee, get the little marriage certificate, then go get the pastor $35 and go jump a broom and throw a party and then break and then try to go get something and then voila, here comes the surprise. You can't get nothing.
Mhm.
We a lot of us have not been raised to talk about this stuff as it's a that to bring this up to the forefront when you're dealing with somebody. We don't as a culture, I don't think we actively talk to each other about the fact that we need to be, especially when we start talking about being joining with somebody, that we need to have these financial conversations and how we spend money and how we pay our bills. Because you can have two different ways of doing everything coming together under one roof, and you're not figuring it out until you're up under one roof.
Mhm. That's very true. But like I said, I'm not saying to not get with somebody because of it. I'm just saying it's something that you have to consider. Now, in terms of purchasing a home, I don't know why I hear the reasons why men say, well, I'm not settled yet. It's still an investment. That very same man that said this in 2017, that's still not married in 2024, you done lost that on $200,000. Because the person that bought a house in 2017 that still own that house, they up $200,000 in equity today. That's a fact. Which another thing is, I've been talking a lot about debt consolidation. I often say Black people are not poor. We just choose to spend our money in other places. But statistically, when we start talking about different careers and things like that, there's a correlation. But how do I say this? I want to say it politely because I really don't intend to offend anybody.
We're not polite over here, Joy.
Come on, say it.
But I find it I find it disturbing that there is no limit on the amount we'll spend on an automobile. But when it comes to where you choose to raise your children and lay your head at night, all of a sudden you cost conscious. It's weird to me. And what has happened is equity is the difference between what the value of the house is and how much you owe. if you only bought a $150,000 house, you don't have as much equity as the person that went out and they got the $300,000 house. Does that make sense? Like, it translates into actual real dollars. And so I get on the internet and I'm like, oh, you can, do cash out refinance and debt consolidate. Child, the people ain't got enough equity to do no debt consolidate because they bought down here. And it's just, again, but no cap. Oh, that's my Mercedes. What's this? You got $1,400 a month payment. I know what it is. I can see on the credit. That's my Mercedes. Okay, well, what's this same credit report? This $843. Oh yeah, that's my Camry. You got $2,000 of car. But then you telling me you want your house payment to be $1,000 a month?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like, you don't think that's odd? Like, it's just very interesting to see these things play out in real time every single day. I'm not saying to, be crazy with your housing budget, but people are so consumed with, I don't want to be house poor, but you're poor. Like, you're poor. You're poor. Like, it's like, if the money, it doesn't matter if the money's going to Big Bird or Mickey Mouse, it's still leaving out of your bank account every single month.
This is what Joy just pulled up and did, Trey Ferg. I dog, Joy.
Showing up. I believe.
Talking about you care more about your car than your.
I believe people know.
Yeah, go ahead, Trey.
No, I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I believe people know a lot of times when they come to this table looking for a house, they understand what their overhead is. They understand. They play dumb when they know it ain't gonna work. Oh, I didn't know. They knew. One thing I know about Black folk, when they get their mindset on doing something, they do more research than goddamn Albert Einstein. And when it don't work, I didn't know that was like that. I said, man, you've been talking about buying a house for 3 years. You ain't. They know. They just don't want to look bad, and it looks bad when they go and they start having people dig into their credit. Because one thing Black folk do, we get 30. Goddamn it, we pulling credit reports. What's my credit score? But they already know they got that overhead. They know it. They just come in with a little bag. They got a little money, $6,000, $8,000. They probably got it at the casino. Now I'm gonna get a house. But for the most part, we be scheming.
It's